Welcome to Take a Timeout with Dustin Sullivan, a production of the KanDuGroup. KanDuGroup is a 501c3 nonprofit provider of services for adults with developmental disabilities and is pleased to bring you this podcast. Today, Dustin's guest is Scott Donaldson. Scott is a native of New York and a graduate of SUNY Rockport. He played football during his college career and helped lead his team to the NCAA Division III playoffs 3 times. Coach Donaldson has spent his entire coaching career at Heidelberg. During his tenure, he has served as a full-time defensive assistant coach, defensive coordinator, and on December 4th, 2015, was promoted to head coach. Scott is entering his 19th season in coaching and 7th season as a head coach. During his first 6 seasons as head coach, Scott has a career record of 35 wins and 19 losses. We are introducing a new thing to the Take a Timeout with Dustin Sullivan. We're going to be doing a trivia question of the week. So, in honor of our guest being from New York, our trivia question of the week is, one thing the state of New York is known for is the Finger Lakes. These lakes were all carved out by glaciers after the Ice Age, which makes them look long, narrow, and similar to fingers. How many Finger Lakes are there? We will bring the answer to the question later in the podcast.
Good question.
So now let's turn the mic over to our host, Dustin Sullivan.
Are you ready, Scott?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what brought you to Northwest Ohio?
Specifically it was a job. When you're getting out into the coaching world, especially your first job, you can't really be very choosy. And, I graduated, I took a little extra victory lap and I graduated in December. I knew I wanted to coach, but I was doing about 9 months of work in construction and just sending my resume out to anywhere that had it and that would take it. And luckily enough, Heidelberg called me back and brought me up, and I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. What do you like about Tiffin, Ohio?
I love Tiffin, Ohio. It is a great place to set your roots down, start a family, which is kind of weird for me. I'll be honest, I grew up right outside of Buffalo, kind of a city boy, and moving out here was a little bit of a shock. There's a lot of cornfields and soy fields, but Tiffin is an amazing place because it has amazing people in it. From everyone, from the 2 colleges in it, it is by definition a college town, but the people in this town are absolutely amazing. And just being here is really opened up a lot of doors for myself and my family.
It's a good, convenient little small town for a
It
great
is.
family.
It
I like
is.
the history of Tiffin.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite restaurants in Tiffin, Ohio?
Oh, obviously I eat a lot. I eat in all of them. So, my favorite is probably the Clover Club. I've been going there for 19 years. Great burgers. Madison's is phenomenal. I know it's the most famous one, and Chase does a great job. I think one of the undersold ones in town is definitely Benchwarmers. They got good food.
And the Viaduct.
But the Viaduct, yeah, I gotta stay out of the Viaduct, Dustin. That's the place where the college kids go most often. So.
And Madison Street's a good place to go.
Madison's phenomenal,
They got the best
absolutely
wings.
phenomenal. Yeah, I disagree. I'm a wing snob. I'm from Buffalo. I'm a wing snob. The sauce has got to be just right, and Madison's is the closest. I will give you that, but nowhere gets it perfect.
Yeah, so I bet you and John have an argument over wings sometimes.
But yeah. Me and John argue a lot about a lot of things, mostly because he's a Michigan fan.
What is your all-time favorite food?
Chicken wings.
That's mine.
Boom. Let's go. Let's go.
Spicy or hot?
I don't like them too hot. They gotta have a little kick, but it's usually a medium, a good medium sauce, but it's got to be the right sauce. There's two ingredients to the right chicken wing sauce. It's butter and Frank's. That's it.
Or garlic parmesan.
But I can respect that, but I'm a traditionalist. I want butter and I want Frank's.
Oh yeah, you're from Buffalo, so they like it originally.
But it's a staple.
I snuck in a question of my own here. When naming my kids, I started doing a double letter thing.
Okay.
I noticed goofy things and saw you, your wife, and your kids all have double letters in their names. Was that planned?
Absolutely not.
No?
Did not realize it till right now.
There is though, right?
There is. There
Yes.
absolutely is.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause there is in my family.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. All three of my kids. Well, and your kids have a vowel, consonant, vowel. And I have a vowel, consonant, vowel thing going on with mine. But my daughter, then we couldn't figure out something that we liked, so we ended up with. But I like him.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I did not realize that. So right now.
Yeah, I was like, did it all happen, the double letter thing in Tiffin?
What's that? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been here. This is my 19th year. I came actually August 1st, 2004 was my first day. My wife was finishing her doctoral school in Buffalo. So when I finished my master, when I graduated with my master, she graduated with her doctorate, and right after we moved her right out here. So she's been out here for 17 years now. So my kids are 12 and the girl just turned 10.
Okay. Since we are talking about you guys and your move to Tiffin, let's throw in that answer to that trivia question real quick. The answer is 11.
Wow.
11 freshwater
I was
lakes,
way off.
placed like a handprint, are located between Lake Ontario and the Pennsylvania border. So there we go.
I would have guessed there was only like 8.
Well, I was gonna say 5. Just
Finger lakes, it makes sense to me.
It's beautiful, great wineries down there.
Yep.
Talking about family.
So I heard you knew my cousin John Huffman. So how do you actually know John? So
You
how
know-
long have you guys known each other?
We've known each other probably since I moved out here. I mean, he's worked at Heidelberg, and one of the biggest selling points Heidelberg has is always just the straight beauty of our campus. I mean, it is a gorgeous campus, not only the architecture, but the landscaping, and that's John's fault. John does everything, and he's the head of grounds, but he makes this campus gorgeous. So I knew him well before he was the head of grounds, and we're about the same age. He is a little bit older, make sure, and obviously I'm much better looking. But he just became friends through there. His wife was actually one of my students when I was teaching at Heidelberg. Yeah, so and just got to know each other through there, and then through football. John's a great football coach too, coaching the 8th grade team. My son plays on the 7th grade team, but just we're very like-minded individuals, and he's a great dude, and actually built my deck for me around my pool. And
He's a good handyman.
well, there's no doubt he knows what he's doing a lot better than I did. That deck would not be standing if I
No.
did it.
So you guys are probably go back and forth because you're Buffalo and East Steelers.
Well, yeah, well, like I said, you can't just cancel guys for one bad decision.
Yeah. His son's a pretty good football player.
His son's a great football player, and I'm excited to recruit him in a year or two.
I think he'll be good in a couple of years.
I think so.
Do you teach anything at the university?
I did, and I love teaching, and I did for a good 10 years. I taught a coaching philosophy class, and I absolutely loved teaching, and somehow I actually taught a nutrition class that I wasn't I should have been teaching it. And a few other smaller classes here and there, and I absolutely loved it, especially that coaching class. It was really designed for people that wanted to be high school and college coaches, and when I became head coach, they took that off my plate. The first couple of years as head coach are kind of eye-opening on the workload, so they took that off my plate. They gave it to a couple of my assistant coaches, but I do miss teaching, and hopefully in a year or two I can get back into it.
That's awesome. So are there any traditions that Heidelberg does every year?
God, there's way too many. I mean, we'd have to stretch this interview out to about a good 2 hours. So that's one of the, I think, the really coolest parts of Heidelberg. Heidelberg's been yielding a football team since 1892. This is the 130th football season at Heidelberg. That's unbelievable. And the traditions that comes along with that really get to be fun. So there's a lot. When Mike Hallett got here in 2007, he was my predecessor, he brought back what the Victory Bell was. And that's something that's really special. So back pre-World War II, after wins, the entire team would go over to University Hall and ring the bell. And University Hall's, if the admissions is going to yell at me, I think it's been 1892, I think it got built. I don't know. A long time before both of our times. After World War II, we started playing downtown, down at Frost Kennel now, and when we got games back on campus, we wanted to bring that tradition of the Victory Bell back. So we've been doing it ever since. After every home game, after every home win, the entire team, and now it's turned into the band leads the team, and the entire stadium empties out. I mean, after our win on Saturday, there had to be about 2,000 people over at University Hall in the bell. I got my GAs up in the bell tower ringing it, and it's something really unique to Heidelberg that I love. That everyone just kind of empties campus and goes over there. But there's so many traditions involved with our program. Like I said, there's way too many to get into right now, buddy.
That's cool. Heidelberg. So who did they beat?
We beat Adrian College last weekend.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was a good game. 31-0. It was our first shutout since 2015, and
That's impressive.
it was a good football game with two good teams.
Yeah. What kind of sports did you play growing up?
You know what? I was excuse me. I was more of a baseball kid growing up. I'll be honest. I baseball and bowling. Those were my sports, and that's all we did. My dad was a bowler, my mom was a bowler. I mean, I bowled like 5 leagues growing up.
Candy's going bowling on Friday.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm jealous. I miss it. We don't have an alley different right
That's
now.
John's grandmother, my grandmother, his grandma.
Yeah.
She was a good bowler.
Really?
She used to be on leagues.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So, you were a baseball fan.
I was a baseball guy. I was a third baseman, and they always put us fat guys on first or third, so I played third my whole life. And, I actually didn't, I played backyard football growing up. Growing up in the 90s, that's all we did was street hockey and backyard football. And I didn't actually put on pads till the 9th grade. And I still I liked baseball more than I liked football, as a younger guy. And then really junior, senior year, it really changed, and I realized that I really wasn't very good at baseball, and I was much better at football. So that kind of led my career path down the way it has.
So, who did you grow up liking? Were you a Reds fan?
What's that? No, Bills and Indians.
Yeah.
No, I was at Guardians now, excuse me. But Buffalo has the Buffalo Bisons used to be the Indians farm club. So grew up watching like Kenny Lofton come up through and all those guys that played in the late 90s. Those were the guys I watched in the minors. Yeah, they were fun.
The funny thing is, we're talking about baseball. John's grounds crew, he doesn't even like baseball.
What's that?
He doesn't even like
Oh, really? We played on a softball team together. He wasn't very good.
Loves his game.
But yes, football is definitely his game.
So what person most inspired you growing up? Like athlete or anywhere?
Growing up, obviously, we had those 90s years with the Buffalo Bills and Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, those guys were gods. The guy I really, after I started doing some research and you get older, you start finding out about people. A guy named Pete Metzelaars. He was a tight end for the Bills during that Super Bowl stretch. Yes, I know they lost all 4, but
They got there.
They got there. They got there. They were fun. Those years were fun. But so my best friend growing up was my cousin, and she actually grew up with cystic fibrosis. And when she was growing up, Pete Metzelaars, really ran the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Western New York and would bring us over. Like I said, we were really close, and she lived with us for a couple of years. And would bring her to his house, would, you know, do a lot of events, and just seeing that and how much influence they had on so many kids and how much time they spent on so many kids that didn't have the advantages that he had. And then I grew to find out that Pete Metzelaars was a Division III football player, played D3 ball, and you know, so looking back, you know, obviously you look up to the stars, you look up to Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas, but then you find out more about you know, the Pete Metzelaars of the world that never went to a Pro Bowl, but those are the guys that you really, that stick in your heart.
That fibrosis thing's touching to me, because I know it's, I battle, because I'm muscular dystrophy.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to have tough times.
I'm sure.
And Jim Kelly was always a good guy growing up, because I appreciate, after all the things he went to,
Yeah,
battling cancer 4 times,
yeah.
it was touching.
Mm-hmm. And his son Hunter, he runs that Hunter Foundation with him, and yeah, it's you see what guys do off the field. Really, then you find out about character.
Yeah, so everyone says there's some good people out there.
There is.
Towards
There
that.
is.
You just gotta look for the right ones.
Absolutely.
Let's throw a little twist on this
Yeah.
question. What about head coach?
How were you asked to be head coach for Heidelberg?
Oh, you want the whole story?
Yeah.
All right. So this is actually. So I was, you know, defense coordinator for a long time. Started getting some calls at other schools that, you know, wanted to talk to me about their head coaching positions. I was actually at another head coaching interview. And the interview started at 11 a.m. and I find out at 11 p.m. as I'm sitting at an Applebee's that Mike Hallett took the position at Toledo. He called me, he goes, Scott, I'm gonna take the job at Toledo with Jason, and I'm like, great. Holy crap. Like, me and Matt talked, our old AD, Matt Palm, we think, you're the guy for the job. I was like, oh crap, well, I'm actually in somewhere else at an interview in about 12 hours. So I called the AD the next morning. I go, Matt, I know I'm at an interview right now, but I want to be the head coach of Heidelberg. And, Matt, I don't know if you know Matt Palm, he's actually the head baseball coach at Findlay right now, really likes to mess with me. And, him and Hod, well, Scott, I don't know, for a good, what it felt like 2 hours, I'm sure it was 2 seconds. Him and Hod, he goes, well, I've already talked to the president, we unofficially are offering you the job. And I go, that's fantastic, I unofficially accept, but the school that I was at already paid for me to be out there. I'm sitting in a hotel room they paid for. I got to go on the interview. So I told Matt I'm going to go on this interview, and I killed the interview. I absolutely killed it because I didn't have anything to lose. I knew I wasn't going to take
No
the job.
pressure.
Yeah, I absolutely killed it. They offered me the job before I left. I go, well, let me think about it. I get back the next day, and I guess the rest is history. But it was.
They're gonna watch this and go,
What? Who knows? But it was a very wild 24 hours there in my life and our family's lives. So yeah, that's I don't know if I've ever told that story publicly. So.
there you go.
So, just because you work at Heidelberg, so do you support Tiffin University?
Oh, absolutely.
You guys don't play each other?
No, we actually do play each other in JV next weekend. Chris Reiser, their head coach, does an amazing job, and Gary Goff before him did a great job. I have nothing but respect for that program and that staff. I think they do a great job, and it goes back to a rising tide brings all ships up, or whatever that parable is. The better they do, the more press, the more love Tiffin as a community gets. The better we do, and it brings everyone up, and just the success that they've had, the success we've had. Same thing with Calvert and Columbia. And, this is a tiny little pocket in Seneca County for great football from college to high school, So I love to see them do well, and excited about watching them through the future.
So have you ever guys ever had a scrimmage with the University of Denver?
No. I've tried. Division II is not allowed to scrimmage.
No, I didn't know that.
But yeah, they're not allowed. So it'd work out so well with Tiffin being right there that, we can just have a dual practice and everything, but they're not allowed.
That's the first time I ever knew, or never knew.
Yeah, and every division has, we all have the same overarching rules,
Yeah.
but there are specifics for every division.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any pregame routines that you do before every game?
Not really. I do, it's probably not good, but I do take a 5 hour right before we go down the field, 5 hour energy. That's probably not good, and my cardiologist definitely doesn't think it's a good idea. Hopefully he's not watching. But, I hate pregame. I hate every second of pregame. It's, obviously my anxiety, my nerves are at a 12, but I gotta act like they're at a 3, because if I'm at a 12, the kids are gonna be at a 15.
Right.
So I have to keep myself, at least my outward face, calm, collected, but man, I hate that 1 hour before the game.
So you're probably like, come on, let's get
What's that? Yeah, you're hugging guys, you're telling them you love them. I can't wait to watch you play today. We're gonna have some fun, but in the back of my mind, I'm going through every situation that can possibly happen and how it can go wrong.
meeting today. You seem like you're a really good coach.
I appreciate that. I think I am. But you got one of my players sitting in here. You can ask him. So.
Is he a good coach?
He's pretty damn good.
Thanks, Joey.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll give you that $20 later.
What position do you play?
Oh, wide receiver.
That's a tough position.
Yeah.
It's rewarding sometimes.
Joey's a tough kid, though.
I would love your hat and your shirt.
What's that? I have my GA coming over right now. He just walked by the door. So I got you a hat and a t-shirt.
That's awesome.
He didn't get over here in time. So.
I'm going to University of Findlay game, so
All right.
maybe I'll come see Heidelberg play sometime.
But I would love it. And actually, the Northwest Ohio Bowl, the Vendo Bowl, is next weekend on the 17th. Ohio Northern is coming over here playing at night. So that'll be a fun one.
Can't go that one, I'll be in Cincinnati for October.
Oh!
I'll take some other game.
I got you. We'll get you back for another game. There's no doubt.
Do you have any superstitions?
Not really. Not really. I do wear the same undershirt for every game, but that's more of, we had a player pass away 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago now, Curtis Hellman, and his mom made me a shirt, and so that's what I wear for my undershirt every day, the CH49 stuff.
It's terrible. I don't mean to ask, but what happened?
It was a tragic accident. We were playing the spring season in COVID, and it was right between our week 2 and week 3 game. It was Saturday night, and got a tragic ATV accident. And it was just a horrible thing. Alcohol wasn't involved, and it was just a freak accident. And it was the worst. Talk about me, but the worst time of my absolute life. But it wasn't about me. It was the worst time for our entire program. Just dealing with that in a season that was so shocking. It was something I wouldn't prey on my worst enemy. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. And but in tragedy, you see the good in everything. I mean, every team, every coach reached out. There was an outpouring of love and support that was something you can only get through an absolute tragedy like this. But he would have been a senior this year, and you can see the CH. That's Curtis Hellman, his initials, and so we break down to CH49 every time. That was his number, and we were the CH stickers, and no one's wearing the number 49 right now, obviously. We retired that through this year, through when he would have graduated. So, but no, it's again, You learn the grief process, and
It's terrible, because it makes me rethink Dwayne Haskins all over again.
yeah, it's like I said,
I love how you incorporated his initials into champion.
But I love that.
That's
I think it was
awesome.
really cool. Yeah.
Very
So
clever.
I hope you guys go out there and win him a championship this year.
we're gonna try. There's no question.
If you could have any superpower as a coach, what would it be?
Ooh, as a coach.
Yeah.
Oh,
twisted that.
you know what? I think it would be telepathy, because like I want to look at a guy and like you watch what he does on the field, you're like, what the hell was he thinking? Like, why did he do this? But if I had telepathy, I would just get in his head like, why did you do this?
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
I was always wanted to be that.
It's, I mean, you watch with practice or games, you're like, the hell is this guy thinking? And that's half the time, half my coaching. The hell are you thinking?
I've always wanted to control time, so like just
That'd be clutch.
stop time
That'd be
and
clutch.
you can move everybody where they need
I
to
know,
be.
I could go back in time to when I had hair. I mean, it'd be awesome.
I'm sure they're gonna cut some stuff out of our video, I think.
What's that, really?
I
I
didn't
didn't
hear,
give them nothing but
I didn't hear
gold.
anything. I didn't hear anything bad. What has been your most memorable game in your entire life?
Ooh, going back to Curtis, it was the game after Curtis. We were playing at Heidelberg, who we actually have this weekend, and their head coach is a very good friend of mine, Tim Dow. Actually went through a similar tragedy the year before in 2019, so it was very accommodating. And actually for the opening kickoff, which Curtis was on our starting kickoff team, his best friend brought out his jersey and put it out there, and we played the kickoff with 10. And that was again, I mean, and we had to give a little couple minute break after that kickoff, because obviously it was a very emotional time for all of us and their team too, and but yeah, that was absolutely, I'll never forget that specific play, but that game in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like how you're so in depth on everything.
But my wife's gonna yell at me, but I can remember probably every single football play that I've called or coached in the last 19 years, but I can guarantee I always forget to bring home what I'm supposed to bring home from work to my wife.
I'm good at that stuff. I've always been good at stats and everything.
Yeah, it's just a 90s trivia. I could kill you in 90s music trivia. I am a savant. I'm unbelievable. But if you ask me how I got here right now, where I parked this morning, I have no idea.
Same thing like 80s music. 80s rock music. I would
You're an 80s? That's
We
the
pumped
hair metal.
we pumped up to hair metal on the way here.
Yeah, that's just not my bag, Give me the grunge metal any day, Give me a rockin' Pearl Jam this morning.
I love Pearl Jam.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, in the podcast, we've added something else, a fact of the week, and this will lead into actually Dustin's next question. So, the fact of the week, there is only one letter that does not appear in any state name. What letter is it?
It's gotta be Z, right?
No? You'll find a Z in Arizona. Anybody else? The X, no, there's two X's, one in New Mexico and one in Texas. There's a J in New Jersey, but you won't find any state with the letter Q in them.
Q. Always the outlier.
United States. In Canada,
You got Quebec.
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 Yeah. Back to the podcast.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh. I've always wanted to, I'm a history guy. I was a history major. I would absolutely love to get over to Europe, especially Eastern Europe, the Germany, the Bavaria, the Hungary, kind of that line there. There's so much, obviously, history and things like that. I would absolutely love to see it.
So if I could go anywhere, I probably would go to Ireland because they have all the bars.
Well, they do. I've heard.
And maybe Italy, because they have good Italian food.
But I'm assuming, yeah, I've never been overseas.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Ooh, the very little amount I have right now, with having young kids, it's, my free time is dedicated to them, them and my family. I don't have much free time, so when I do, I have to dedicate it and be fully involved in their lives for the half hour I might get with them, Right now, my son's playing 7th grade football. I know you're about to talk to Coach Lutz for Coach Lutz's program and for Columbian, and so watching him play when I can. I had to miss a game last week, and it breaks my heart. But it's just being as much involved in them. But I'm a music nerd. I love listening to music. I paint. When I do have, COVID kind of brought out some hobbies I haven't done in a while. So. But mostly it's just dedicated to my kids.
I like to do artwork, like engraving and
Really?
make t-shirts. Maybe I'll have to give you the website so you can look at some of my shirts.
Make me a design?
I can, just
I got you.
ask me whatever you want, and John can text me and I can make it.
We got it.
Oh, well, I will throw in here that Dustin, if you've seen any of his podcasts, always has a final question for every single person he interviews. So,
Okay.
This might be the toughest question you ever answered.
I'm nervous.
Do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
So no. The hot
Yeah.
dogs are so on the next level. Like a sandwich is just, calling a hot dog a sandwich is disrespect to a hot dog.
A hot dog's like a pizza on steroids.
What's it? It's everything. And I love hot dogs, and it's just a disservice to call them a
You
sandwich.
can put anything on a hot dog.
That's what I'm saying.
You could even have a hot dog with dessert with that, probably be gross.
That'd be gross. Yeah.
well, thank you so much.
KanDuGroup provides opportunities and experiences for adults with developmental disabilities. This can only happen with the support of area businesses and community members like you. Thank you. For more information, contact www.kandugroup.org.